Ollie and Steven's 2013-14 NBA Preview Show. Number 24.
Hi, hello everyone, welcome back to Ollie and Steven's 2013-14 NBA Preview Show. Stephen Edwards' Power Rankings are counting down. Last time we did 25, obviously, and it was all for the Bucks. Boring to talk about, boring to discuss, probably boring to listen to. But 24, Stephen, is a more exciting team to me, the Utah Jazz. Explain why they're at 24.
Utah are one of those teams that have kind of fallen down the Western Conference pecking order and have kind of been the victim of how the Western Conference has become so deep. They were traditionally always a playoff team, and that wouldn't be a problem for them. But they've gone through one gutting roster after another, and I think they just need to find themselves a core group of players they can let develop and mesh together over a period of time. And the Jazz fans will be patient. It's not about the fact that they'll force the owner's hand to try and move these players on. The Jazz fans are very knowledgeable. They've had the good times and they've seen the bad times, and they'll stick by the team.
Utah always have some really good throwback uniforms. I like Utah's uniforms, and when they bring in that rule that we created, that once a month you have to wear a throwback, I'm excited for Utah and the fan base.
Yeah, I mean, they have got some nice throwback uniforms. Anyone that saw the uniforms that they wore when they was in the finals against Chicago, but especially the road purple
Beautiful.
ones. Oh, really nice uniforms.
Delicious bit of design from the sport companies there. Let's check out what they did last summer then, because as much as... before we do that, Stephen Edwards, capture the collective mindset of it. Let me do that again, let's edit. Okay, let's capture the collective mindset of Utah's fan base with one word. Stephen Edwards, your word for the Jazz.
Patient.
Burks. They have both Trey Burke and Alec Burks on their team. Interesting decision there to go with the backcourt of two Burks. Interesting, I like that. There's going to be a lot of confusion between jersey sales, I imagine, next season.
Yeah, I think this is could be a few misprints along the way.
There'll always be that thing, I don't know if you had it, or whether you've had it with your children, when it's, say, Christmas or something, and you send, maybe it was always my mum or something, I'd ask her for a certain football top for the season, and then she gets confused in the shop because there's people that sound the same, and it was always easy for me because either way, she just come back with Gerard, because at least that makes sense. When there's people that are close together, I feel like there's going to be a lot of disappointed children who get the Alec Burks Utah Jazz jersey rather than the Trey Burke one.
Yeah, I mean, although at the moment, only one of those is going to receive any sort of playing time.
It's true. All right, then let's check out what they did last summer now that we bring up Trey Burke. They drafted him, and they didn't actually pick him, but they got him in that trade. I thought it was a good trade for the Jazz. I'm very high on Trey Burke. The best college basketball player last year won that award. He's a little bit undersized, being written off by some because he doesn't weigh enough, isn't tall enough. He can make elite shots. He's a good basketball player. He's proven it, and I like his upside.
No, I mean, I'm not as sold on him as yourself is Ollie. There are, for me, we've talked about other rookies. I think that could very well win the Rookie of the Year, and he's only been hampered, unfortunately, by the fact that he is injured, and he didn't look the best in pre-season either. The games he actually played, so I think he's going to take a little bit of time to adjust to the NBA. But he could be one of these guys that has a tough rookie season, and then everything maybe will click over the summer, and we'll see a lot better things from him in 2014, 2015.
This is what I like about him a lot. I watched a lot of highlight tapes of all these guys coming out to put together a board. Trey Burke made NBA threes. And what I mean by that, for those who do not know, the arc at the NBA level is just a little bit further back than at the collegiate level. Now, some guys at college push themselves right up to the line like they do in the NBA and hit those threes. Then when they get to the NBA, they struggle. They have to change their shot ever so slightly. It's just a different mental adjustment as well. Trey Burke's dropping them from way far out, way off the line, dribbling the ball down the court, shooting off the dribble, three-point shots, clutch three-point shots, and I like that about him.
Yeah, I mean, if he can knock down the three, that's a good start, because a lot of rookies we've seen come in the league at times haven't been able to knock down that three, and as you rightly say, they then have to make the adjustments to give that as part of their arsenal. I mean, we talked about Derek Rose on our last podcast about how he's added length to his jump shot. And if a guy can come in the league and already start knocking down that three, that's one weapon they've got over some of the other guys. I'll just be interested to see just how he comes back from the injury and how much that's going to ruin his rookie season. I think for me, that's going to play a major part in it, and he's going to have a setback compared to some of the other rookies in the league.
So they let go of Al Jefferson and Paul Millsap and Mo Williams, but get excited, you guys, because they brought in Richard Jefferson to this Al Jefferson. There could be some more confusion in the jersey department with that one. Some families may think that maybe they could just double down. If they give Richard Jefferson Al Jefferson's former number, then keep the same stock. I like that. It's a good approach. They're two pieces they missed.
I mean, Al Jefferson and Paul Millsap have been moved along so that so Derek Favors and Enes Kanter can start picking up the playing time. So they've made their decision and they've got rid of those salary. I think they'll regret losing them in the short term, but obviously it's a longer term plan.
I want to talk about their rotation then, and I'm looking at it this way. How often do they go small ball? How often do they move Favors to the 5? Maybe you can push Jefferson to the 4, and then you bring Hayward off the bench as the 3, and he just jacks them up.
Yeah, I think that's possibly the way they're going to go. I think at times, Gordon Hayward is going to play starters minutes. I think you can make a case at times he's going to be out there for 25, 30 minutes a game, but he's actually going to be coming off the bench. I think he's going to be the first guy they're going to go to, and it'll be very interesting to see if that is the route that Ty Corbin does go down. Ty Corbin's a guy that I think, moving on slightly, is a guy that knows the Utah Jazz organisation, knows the fans and what they want, and I think he's going to benefit quite nicely as a coach this season, but only in him going out the door. I think he's going to come in. He's going to try and put his stamp on the team, and I think he's going to be a guy that's going to go very, very quickly. But before that actually happens, I think he's going to make use of Gordon Hayward.
Okay, then I think we should bring in Jedi Ollie to the studio and find out what he has to say.
Jedi Ollie.
Okay, I predict there's going to be some funny things with Utah this season. Like I said, they have some understanding, knowledgeable basketball fans. They're going to be down this line of when's Trey Burke coming back, when isn't he coming back. They maybe keep him out a couple of weeks to a month longer than he needs to be. People start picking up some bizarre injuries. I think they're going to be a lot worse than this power ranking suggests. I think they're going to be right down there, 28 sort of area.
I think you can make a case for the Jazz being down that far, but I
just feel they're going to fall off a cliff, I think.
I don't see them being that far because of how bad some teams are going down. And I know the reason why you're trying to push them down that far, because you think the Celtics won't be there.
No. When I look at this roster, you tell me a leader on this roster. The one guy who has leadership potential is Trey Burke. You do not want your rookie point guard who is injured to have to be the leader of that locker room.
I don't. I don't think you do want him to be the leader of the locker room. You want to come in and let him get himself settled. I don't. And I think this is probably what's going to end up leading to Ty Corbin going. I don't think necessarily that I think Ty Corbin is going to do a reasonably good job, but I think because he's not going to have that leader there, I think the Jazz are going to look to make the change and try and do something different. And I think that's one of the routes they're going to go down. I'm not 100% convinced that the Jazz still at this particular point know exactly what they're doing.
I also predict we're going to see a lot of inappropriate Instagram partying pictures of the Bucks at home and on the road because they have no leadership. They're all going to be out there partying, probably later than they should be, and they'll materialise themselves on these guys' Instagram. Not enough leadership is not going to bode well for this Jazz team all season. Stephen, let's go then to your best segment. This is where you take the lead, and I've not timeouted you once yet. I'm going to film this if you slag off Trey Burke in this segment. 24-second prediction shot clock. When you start, the clock will begin.
Utah Jazz 2013-2014. Fans will be patient with Trey Burke, and when he comes back, he will show some moments of magic, but ultimately his rookie season will be ruined.
Time out. The first time out of the year. Now, You say his season will be ruined. Is that because of the injury? I think he's still going to be in contention for Rookie of the Year because this draft class does not have enough guys who are actually starting and getting enough minutes.
Oladipo will be the Rookie of the Year.
I've already predicted this. You don't have to discuss this with me.
No, that's what I'm saying. So you timeouted me on something that is still not going to...
You said his season will be ruined. It's not going to be ruined. He's going to have a very good NBA season.
No, his season will be ruined. He'll be up and down. I don't think he'll completely adjust. From what I've seen of him in the preseason so far, he will have some good games, but ultimately his season will go down as a ruined season due to the injury.
I completely disagree. Would you like to continue, or should we move on?
No, I'd like to continue. I've got more time. I've got more time. Yeah.
Okay, then let's go.
Talking of injuries could lead to some very ugly games for the Utah Jazz, and I think this is where they're going to have the rotational problems at times. And Derek Favors may very well be a candidate for one of the most improved players in the league.
Oh, I don't like that. I think he's going to get forced to the 5 too much. I don't like the matchups for him there. I think that's forcing it on him. But I do quite like him and Favors together. Him and Cantor, sorry.
Yeah, so there we go.
It's a good one. It's a good one as always. All right, Stephen, let's go to Destination City.
Destination City.
I think because of the tradition that Utah have, I think I would probably say Utah around about a 5, because they're not, for me, that exciting of a basketball team to watch. And maybe we want to have a sweepstake on when Tyrone Corbin will go. But it's still, for me, it's a traditional basketball fan. So 5.
For me, it's all about the parties. It's all about what can I do partying in Utah. And the city, I would give like a 3 or a 4. But I think Trey Burke knows how to party. I also know that a man whose work we consistently steal, Jalen Rose, parties with Trey Burke quite hard. So it could be me, Jalen, and Trey. And then maybe Jalen brings Bill along, my longtime idol, Mr. Simmons, as I am the Rooney Simmons. So I'm going to bump it up to a 6 because I think a party of me, Trey Burke, Bill Simmons, and Jalen Rose is a potential possibility if I'm out there partying in Utah.
I don't think Utah really needs you and Bill Simmons there, to be fair.
I think they'd love it. They'd absolutely love it.
I'm not so sure. Utah Jazz fans that are listening to this, please tweet us at DRoseUK36 or at OllieUKZ advising us whether or not you would like Bill Simmons and Ollie Connolly to party in Utah.
I think that about does it for number 24 on your power rankings, the Utah Jazz.
Thanks for downloading Ollie and Steven's 2013-14 NBA preview show. Please continue to check out the First Take UK podcast.